Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome back to Monster Energy Supercross 3, the official video game where today I'm going to be playing the 2019 Houston Supercross and talking about the upcoming 250 East Supercross Championship in real life in 2021. That's right, the season is going to start off with the East Coast class, which is a little bit unique compared to normal standards, but I'll explain why I don't think it's actually that different than anything else that probably would have happened in just a minute. So yeah, what I did earlier this week was a 450 video highlighting my picks and decisions and all this stuff on the 450 class. So this video is about the 250 class, and I'll apologize in advance that this came out later than I really wanted it to. Quite honestly, work has been so busy over at racetracksonline.com this week, so I just didn't have a lot of time to sit down and do it, and we had a long day here today on Friday, press day, and a bunch of other stuff to try to get out on the website, so I'm sorry it's a little bit late, but hopefully you guys enjoyed your Supercross Eve and getting ready for some Supercross racing this Saturday night in Houston. And yeah, if you're watching this the day of the race, hopefully you're having a good time getting ready for the race and kind of revving yourself up, and I appreciate you stopping by and watching a video about the upcoming season of the 250 East Division. So just like I did in the 450 video, I'm kind of going to hit on a few different topics throughout the video, and what I'm going to start off with is basically highlighting the two people that I think are, in my opinion, the pretty clear in a way favorites, or at least on paper what they've been discussed as this year as the clear in a way favorites, and that is Austin Forkner and Jet Lawrence. Austin Forkner on the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team, 11 career 250 Supercross wins. It is his 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, so fifth year in the 250 class, and kind of getting to the point where it's like, if he hasn't got it done already, is he ever going to get it done kind of thing. And the other rider, Jet Lawrence, the Australian, now I believe 18 years old, still very young, just signed onto Honda HRC with his brother Hunter, but Hunter will be on the West. And Jet has no career Supercross victories, although he probably should have won Anaheim 2 last year. He did win an outdoor moto and overall at the very end of outdoors last year, but arguably speaking, he is the hottest commodity in motocross right now. He is someone that I think a lot of people are looking to as the future potentially of our sport. Very outgoing personality. Seems like he's a pretty likable kid. Tremendous style on the bike, and kind of, you know, he's the youngest of the Lawrence brothers, but he kind of still has the same attitude that Hunter always has, which is kind of just lay it all on the line and whatever happens, happens. Now, I personally think that these two are going to be the top guys this year, but I think that there's a lot of names you could throw on the list of potential guys to challenge for this championship and maybe even win the title that I'm not going to mention between these two right off the get-go. I did want to, like I said, talk quickly about East versus West this year. Now, really the only race or round that you could really consider would be a full-blown West round at all would have been the two Salt Lake City rounds for 16 and 17, but other than that, everything is Dallas or East. Houston is a little bit east of Dallas, not by much, but a little bit. It's a lot more south than it is east on the map. And then they go to Indy, which is definitely more east than Texas. They go to Atlanta Motor Speedway. They go to Orlando. They go to Daytona. So everything is very east this year anyway, which is why I don't think it really matters which coast started, if West started or East started. I think you're probably going to have a pretty similar brand of guys racing, just because the top teams usually select guys that are pretty much the most ready to go as which coast they'll race, barring a few weird anomalies where the guy either likes a certain coast or a certain dirt or something like that. So I don't think we're going to see a very different brand of top class racing in either coast because of this weird schedule this year. I think you're going to see the same guys if West started as when East is starting. So I just kind of wanted to brush by that real quick, and let's jump back into the Forkner and Lawrence discussion. Now, personally speaking, I don't think that there's a way on paper you could say Forkner is not the clear, outright 100% favorite for this season, and it's odd to me how, like, in a way, he's a little bit been written off already this year. He had a very, very violent crash at the finale of Supercross last year. I believe they took out it was either his pancreas or his spleen entirely, and then the other one, I forget which, they took out part of it. So the one that he can live out without is was taken completely out, and the other one that he definitely needs some of it. They took out part of it because there's a lot of internal injuries in this crash that he had, very violent crash, and it sat him out for the entirety of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. So I think the hype train has slowed down on Forkner quite a bit because of that. But you look back to last year, and his number one competition obviously was Dylan Ferrandis, who a lot of people argued was the best 250 rider in the world last year. And Forkner went toe-to-toe with him, kept the title down to the very last round, had a chance of maybe even winning the title at the last round before things went south. And I think that, realistically speaking, on some level, we have to expect that Forkner will be back a little bit this year. I don't know if it's going to be the exact same guy, but you look back to 2019, he had the same kind of issue where he basically was the guy all year in 2019 and then tore his knee all apart with a couple rounds to go, and Sexton ends up winning the title, but Forkner still came back in 2020 and didn't look like he was really that far off from his 2019 pace. Now, back-to-back years of pretty gnarly injuries definitely can take their toll, but I still think that you have to put Forkner as kind of the clear favorite here. Now, a little bit of intel from today. Press day already happened at Houston, so things have already gone down a little bit. One thing of note is I think you guys will ask about Zach Osborne's crash. He went over the bars in press day today. Cased a triple, rode the nose into the next jump, and then ended over the backside of it and kind of just honestly very much got away with one. He rolled down the backside. Sounds like he banged up his knee a little bit, but the intel that we got is he's okay. He says he's a little bit banged up, but should be good to go for tomorrow, so that's some good news there. But the report that I got from my boss, Jason Wygant, from the track today was Jet Lawrence looks almost untouchable, Christian Craig looks really good, and everybody else looks mediocre at best, which is crazy because that includes a list of, Austin Forkner, RJ Hampshire, Joe Shimoda, Colt Nichols, Michael Moseman, you name it. There's a pretty good list of guys in there, guys that have won races before or at least have challenged and been in podium positions that, initial report, I get it's just press day. We're not seeing the real true test of everybody yet, but Jet Lawrence sounds like he was already on rails today, and that's putting, I think, everybody else on notice right from the get-go. Now, what happens in practice here in Houston tomorrow, I don't know. Things could totally flip around. Forkner could come through and shine and be really good in practice. Christian Craig could top the timesheets, and I really wouldn't be that surprised at all. But I'm looking to Forkner to be the guy this year. Like, I think that if he's not clear in a way the number one, coming into the main event, you have to pick reasons why Austin Forkner isn't going to win it. Then we're looking at a bit of a problem moving forward because Forkner's, 11 wins in the class. That's a lot of wins. He still hasn't got the title. We're getting to the point where it's like, dude, you got to win this championship and move the heck up. Like, I get that you've had these injuries, but clearly you've kind of got the 250 class figured out aside from a championship. You know how to win these races, and I don't want to see Forkner meander around in the 250 class for too much longer because I think he's a talent that's worthy of a 450 factory ride and would be very, very good for many years to come in a 450 capacity in the championship. So I'm hoping this year goes well for Forkner for that sake, but I am hoping as a fan that it's not a clear walk away, and I don't think it's going to be. It sounds like Lawrence is definitely, figured out his sophomore year already and is ready to challenge for this championship, but the list of guys that I could go through here that could challenge is tremendous. Nonetheless, Christian Craig, who I said today was very good in the press day practice, Craig has switched over from the defunct Geico Honda team to the Monster Energy Star Yamaha Racing team. So arguably the best bike on the track, maybe the best team out there as well. They have 6 riders on the team. They're going to go to the East Coast the first 7 rounds with Christian Craig and Colt Nichols, which means that yes, they are putting Justin Cooper and J Mart on the same coast. On the West, they will be partnered with Nate Thrasher and Jarrett Fry, so 2 rookies. I don't know if there's a reason specifically why J Mart went to the opposite coast, because I figured they would split up J Coop and J Mart. I feel like those are the 2 lead guys on the team, but maybe they feel they really do have a legitimate chance at winning the title with Craig. And Craig's been in the class for a long time. He's a savvy veteran. He should know how things work. So if this is the magic recipe, if this bike is going to get Craig to that level that he needs to win a championship, hey, it's not the worst thing ever to kind of let him do his thing and start out and make him feel comfortable and hit the ball rolling with him. It sounds like you look good in practice today. I know how good Craig can look and can be. He's buttery smooth. He's very talented, super fast, and quite honestly probably should have won more 250 Supercross races to this point, but hasn't, and hasn't really contended for a 250 Supercross title either because of it. So he's got the one win in his book. He knows how to win a race, but can he win multiple races? Can he contend for a title? I don't know. We really haven't seen it the same way we haven't really seen it for Lawrence either, but I think Lawrence, he's so much younger than Craig. He's really looking like the future of the sport that I think everyone's just kind of moving past the, well, he's never actually contended for a title road bump and saying this is the guy, like this is the guy that everyone has to beat. So yeah, Honda HRC sending just Jet Lawrence, not Hunter Lawrence, out to the east. Hunter Lawrence will be west. PC Cowie is going to be Austin Forkner and Joe Shimoda. They will be sending Jordan Smith, Cameron McAdoo, and Seth Hamaker to the west coast, so the opposite coast, for round 8 of the championship, which will be round 1 of West in Orlando. Those are kind of like your two big teams, I would say, is Star Yamaha and Monster Kawasaki. That I've already pointed out, but also you have TLD Gas that's going to have Michael Moseman on the east, and then they're going to put Pierce Brown on the west. Rockstar Husky has RJ Hampshire going on the east, which another guy that, similar to Craig, he's kind of getting to the point where he's a pretty much veteran of this class, contended for race wins last year, had problems with the injury bug, and we know he had torn his ACL coming into the season, so he needed to get it fixed, and then it kind of derailed his season when COVID hit because he went to get it fixed thinking Supercross is going to start later, ended up not starting later, so it kind of screwed him out of a chance to get back onto the track to finish the championship. So I think he has a lot to prove. He's training with Alden Baker and Webb and all those guys down there, so I think Hampshire definitely is a guy that could step up to the plate and challenge for a title this year and kind of flying under the radar a little bit. So, there's another guy that you could talk about. I also do want to talk briefly about Max Voland, who's making his Supercross debut this weekend. I don't have high expectations at all for Max Voland. Red Bull KTM coming back into the 250 class after Troy Lee Designs and Red Bull moved over to the Gas program this year. KTM went back in-house with their factory efforts, so Voland will be pitting out of the same pit as Muscan and Webb, but he'll be on a 250 racing in the East Championship. A little weird to me that he's starting out with East because he could add more time to get ready for West, but maybe they're just looking at Supercross this year as like a complete crapshoot for him. I believe it's a 3-year deal for him, so they're giving him plenty of time to figure this thing out. Kid's got a lot of talent, definitely has a lot of good style as well. Son of former pro racer Talon Voland, for you OGs out there that might remember that name. I think there's a lot of potential there, but I also think that he's not ready for Supercross, personally speaking. I saw him ride. One of the things that I really liked about what I saw him ride in person was he commits to the whoops, which a lot of rookies do not. A lot of rookies are very tentative. They don't like squaring up and just charging a set of whoops. He does commit. The problem with that a little bit, though, is that he does need to still use his technique and his brain a little bit in the whoops, and I think because he's committing so much, he tends to just shut the brain off and let instincts kick in, and that's usually when things go wrong. So it's good that he commits, because if you don't commit, you're never going to gain time in the whoops, but he also is probably going to have a big one or two in the whoops this year, in my opinion, and it's probably going to scare him a little bit. So hopefully for his sake, he just makes the mains. He just rides consistent. If he finishes 15th or 16th this weekend, honestly, I'm not going to be overtly surprised by that. I think that's kind of fair for a rookie just making his pro debut in Supercross with no skill set whatsoever before that. Literally had to race Minios to get enough points to race Supercross this year. So the whole thing's a little weird to me, seems a little bit rushed, but it sounds like, they wanted to get him pro. They wanted to let him learn the ropes and give him the time that he needs to develop, and maybe before long he is a contender by that third year on the team. So we'll see how that goes. Other notable names that I see kind of, running through the starting list this weekend, you got guys like Enzo Lopes, Mitchell Oldenburg. Oldenburg's going to be on the Muck-Off Honda team. Enzo Lopes is going to be on the Phoenix Honda team, so he jumped over from Club MX to Phoenix Honda. So a couple guys that are going to be on Hondas with differentiating levels of support. Phoenix Honda is basically the factory Honda Arena Cross team to a degree, and they are getting a little bit more support from Honda after the whole Geico Honda situation went away. But I don't look at Lopes as a guy that straight up contends for race victories or even probably a podium, but he'll probably be a top 5 guy. Oldenburg, on the other hand, you know, the experience that he has being on Star Racing in the past, he's definitely got a lot of talent in Supercross, but he's also got a lot of knack for hitting the ground really hard. So I think there's a problem that lies there. If he can settle himself down, I see him being a podium threat on some days, definitely having a lot of speed, but scaring you every other week because it looks like he's about to crash 9 times out of 10. So, you know, keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I mean, this 250 East class, it's good. It doesn't seem as deep as I kind of expected it to, and I think you see a lot of teams kind of opting for the just make sure our guys are healthy for East route in this situation and not rushing anybody that might be a little bit off onto the West Coast. I'm sorry, onto the East Coast, and then getting them ready for West. I said that backwards, but I'm going to say that backwards all year long. So I think that the top end of this class is great. You got Jet Lawrence, you got Austin Forkner, you got RJ Hampshire, you got Christian Craig, you got 4 straight up guys right there that legitimately I think could win a championship this year, and I would be surprised if it comes from anywhere but those 4 guys. Definitely could, but I hesitate to believe it will. My personal opinion is that Forkner's going to win this championship. I think he's going to look around, look on the starting gate, realize the talent he's up against, and realize there's not a bona fide superstar like Dylan Ferrandis next to him. Although in 2019 that didn't really seem to work because he had that class handled and still crashed. But at some point, I just can't imagine that it's not going to work out for Forkner. He's too good. He's got too much talent, too much speed, and I think that this is finally the year that it works for him. I just hope it does because, gosh, that kid needs a 450 ride in the future. And if he's just going to keep crashing, I think the 450 teams are going to turn a blind eye to it, quite honestly. So we'll see. I think that probably his biggest competitor is going to be Jet Lawrence in the end of it all. But I also, you know, Jet hasn't won a race. Neither has RJ Hampshire. Christian Craig has, but it's been since 2016 that happened. It's just, you know, there's not really like a big reason why Austin Forkner should just straight up lose to these guys this year. But you never know. That's why they dropped the gate, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out when all is said and done. I don't really have any bold predictions in this class because I don't think there's anything besides being straightforward in this class. Like, I don't think someone's going to just completely surprise us in this class. I'm sure I'm wrong. I guess my bold prediction in this class is Joe Shimoda probably, in my opinion, finished his top 3 in the points again. He finished 3rd in 250 East last year, and the reason I think he'll finish 3rd this year is by attrition. I think he's arguably the 5th, maybe 6th best rider that's going to the gate, but maybe with the PC Cowie story's a little bit different. Maybe he's got things a little bit more dialed in. It is the 2nd year of Supercross. He did make it a full season, pretty much 100% healthy. He's a good, smooth, fluid rider on that bike. He's only getting better, it seems. So I think he gets 3rd in the points again. I don't know who beats him. I think that Forkner probably beats him in the points. And you would say Lawrence should too. But maybe Lawrence has problems, and then, you know, Hampshire beats Shimoda in the points or something like that. So, again, bold predictions. I'll just put Shimoda 3rd in the championship. That's not that bold or anything crazy like that. But it is probably putting him ahead of a couple guys that probably should beat him in the points, and I think that just sometimes the cookie crumbles that way. As always, I just hope that we have a full, good, clean season where there's limited to no injuries. This sport is brutal sometimes, and really we struggle to make it full seasons without guys going down with injuries. So I just hope that somehow, some way it happens, but I'm holding my breath. It's a brutal sport that we watch. Anyway, that's my 250 preview video. I apologize if I missed somebody. You guys will let me know in the comment section below if I did miss somebody. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. My brain is fried, and I'm just trying to get you guys some information about this 250 class before we head into racing tomorrow night in Houston. So appreciate you guys stopping by, watching another video here on Start Your Systems. As always, my name is Kellen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.